Hello, this is Ash Roy. I'm the founder of ProductiveInsights.com and the host of the Productive Insights podcast. And I am very excited to be talking about the 5 advantages of podcasting and how you can use podcasting to grow your business and your brand online. So I will be taking questions at the end of this conversation, but I would love for you to leave any of your comments or your questions below, and I will answer them either during this episode or after this episode, or this Facebook Live, I should say, is finished. I'm so used to saying episode because I do podcast episodes all the time. If you have any questions, please do leave comments behind in the comment section. And if you're watching the recording of this, please leave comments as well, and I'll be more than happy to come back to you. I will also be getting a copy of this video if I can work out how to do it. It's been a long time since I did a Facebook Live. I'll be getting a copy of this video and posting it onto my YouTube channel, which you can access at youtube.com/productive insights. Okay, so reason number 1. The first reason that podcasting is a really powerful medium and can help you to grow your business and your brand online is that it is the fastest growing medium at the moment, but is relatively untapped. Other mediums or media, depending on which way to use, like YouTube, have been around for a long time and their growth has been steady, but they haven't grown as fast. Thank you, Colin. I saw your comment. Nice. So it's wonderful to see that comments are actually coming through and I can see them on my Ecamm Live software. So that's great. I haven't used this software for ages. It's the fastest growing medium, but it's relatively untapped. So while it is starting to get pretty crowded and it is getting a bit more saturated, the doors are starting to close, it's still not too late to start your podcast. You see, podcasting is one of the 3 forms of content. You got video content, which is predominantly YouTube. You have audio content, which is predominantly what podcasts are. You can get video podcasts as well, and I've seen that being done too. But predominantly, it's an audio medium. And then you've got written content, which is your blog format and newsletters and that kind of thing. So, of these 3 forms of content, podcasting and audio generally is growing really fast. We've seen that in the explosion of audiobooks as well. So why is that? Well, here's my theory. I think it's because a lot of business owners and even non-business owners really are starting to become increasingly time poor with the advent of smartphones and smartwatches and all that sort of stuff. It's really starting to crunch into our time. All our dead time, what was previously a dead time, is used browsing the phone. So the only real time that we have to ourselves that is relatively, untouched, as it were, is while we're driving or while we're at the gym or while we're falling asleep. And this is where podcasting can be a super powerful tool, because if it's in the audio medium, people feel like they are more, they have more mental freedom, they're more aware, and they can connect with their content better, and they generally tend to listen for longer. So you can have more cut through podcasting, and in my experience, podcasting is attracting relatively affluent and professional type of people, or people who are business owners and who are relatively time poor. And they're self-educating while they're driving or while they're at the gym or while they're falling asleep. Some people even listen in the shower, and I don't want to know where else they're listening, but people are consuming content in the most unlikely situations using podcasting. So that's the second reason. You don't require a screen, and it is very easy to consume, and it's, in my experience, I'm finding that professionals and business owners are sort of self-selecting into the medium. So you have quite a strong and, a reasonably a hungry audience that is often ready to buy your products and services, especially if they're relatively premium services and products. The third reason podcasting is a really awesome tool is because it's a very intimate medium. John Lee Dumas, who was a guest on my podcast, which is the Productive Insights podcast, it was on episode 39, I think, he talked about podcasting, he talked about voice being the first sense we connect with. Even before we are born, we hear our mother's voice in the womb. And so he believes that it's a very intimate medium and we connect with it when we're first, even before we're born. So we have a natural kind of tendency to really tune in to audio content. We kind of maybe find it soothing on some level. We also are tending to listen to podcasts a lot with headphones. So if you really think about it, when you're talking to your target audience through your podcast, you are actually in their ears used through the headphones. Or if they're driving along and they're not listening, they're usually not listening to your podcast with their significant other or somebody else, because typically the other person in the car doesn't necessarily want to listen to exactly what you like. It's quite uncommon for your significant other to be interested in exactly the same content you're interested in. So it's a pretty intimate medium in that sense. You have a captive audience, as it were. So that's the third reason. It's a very intimate medium. The fourth reason podcasting is a very powerful tool is because mobile consumption is growing, and it's growing independently of desktop consumption, content consumption. Rand Fishkin, who was on my podcast in episode 38, if I remember correctly, he's from SEO Moz. He talks about, he does a lot of analysis and trend analysis around the internet and so on, and he believes that mobile is growing independently of desktop, and people are starting to consume their mobile phones, content on their mobile phones, outside of the times when they tend to consume content on desktop. So in other words, that market is growing independently, and podcasting is predominantly consumed via mobile. And presumably in the near future, it's going to be consumed on your watches as well. So it's a very powerful medium, and it's a growing, it's a growing market size in the sense that it's a growing timeshare. You're getting a larger portion of mind of your target audience, and there is still a little bit of land grab happening in that area at the moment. So that's another reason podcasting is a very powerful way to grow your authority. And the fifth and final reason that podcasting is a really powerful tool to grow your authority online is because it's like having your own radio station. I was recently interviewed on a radio station, and it was distributed across the Australian National Radio Network, which was wonderful. But the amount of impact I saw it have was more or less as much as, if not less than, the impact I've had on my podcast. And that's probably because people are listening to their content via podcasts and via subscription tools like Apple Music or Spotify or whatever it is. And so content consumption has become very personalized, very individualized. And so the traditional radio platform has kind of morphed into everyone has their own radio station, which is ad-free and which is very much on demand. So podcasting really fulfills that on-demand education need, which was previously fulfilled through things like tapes and CDs and stuff. All these people like Tony Robbins would send it to you and you'd play it in your car while you were driving. Now you just have to say to your phone, hey, I won't say the word because it'll set your phone off, but hey, so-and-so, hey, SIRI, plays the Productive Insights podcast, and off it goes. So those are the 5 reasons podcasting is a fantastic tool, and I definitely think you should consider having it in your marketing arsenal. Excuse me. If you have any questions about how to get started with your podcast, or if you want to take your podcast to the next level, or if you want to ask me anything about podcasting, do so in the comments, or maybe you can even shoot me an email on ash@productiveinsights.com, and I'll post that email address in the comments section of this video in Facebook. Please follow our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/productive insights. And I haven't seen any comments come through of late on this Facebook Live, on my Ecamm Live. So I'm still trying to work it all out, but I'm assuming there haven't been a lot of comments. If they have, I apologize. If you do catch the